Gannon Stauch was an 11-year-old boy from Colorado Springs, Colorado, who went missing on January 27, 2020. Gannon was last seen by his stepmother, Letitia Stauch, who reported him missing after claiming he had left to play with friends and never returned.
10-year-old boy who authorities say ran away.
The El Paso County Sheriff's Office tells us that Gannon Stauch was last seen by his family on Monday when he said he was going to a friend's house.
And News 5's Jessica Bretto is joining us from the Sheriff's Office with what we know about Gannon. Jessica.
Good morning, Bree and Ira. Well, Gannon is still missing, but we're told people have been searching for him since Monday night, and they've covered a lot of ground already in and around that boy's neighborhood. They've been searching all over Lorson Ranch, Fountain, and beyond. They've been posting flyers like this around their neighborhood, also online. All these efforts to bring Gannon home. Now, Gannon's father tells News 5 that this all started when he took off for a friend's house on Monday at about 3:30 p.m. Within a few hours, he says his wife knew something was wrong when Gannon didn't come home. Eventually, the police were called in to help.
A search was immediately launched by law enforcement agencies, including the El Paso County Sheriff's Office and the Federal Bureau of Investigation. The search involved hundreds of volunteers, drones, and K-9 units, and it spanned several states. Despite an extensive search effort, Gannon's whereabouts remained unknown for more than a month.
Help find Gannon. But at the same time, sometimes it just feels like rumor mongering. Have you seen any of those comments yourself?
We have, and see, that's one of the main things we haven't been around in the public eye because I didn't want to expose my family to it if all these things were going on. You know, there was comments about Gannon getting pushed off the hike, and there was comments about this, and that's just not true. I took care of Gannon for the last 2 years in our home because his mother didn't want to do it, and I would never, ever hurt this child. And I know there's some questions out there about, okay, so tell me what happens. That's up to the investigations when they end up letting you guys know, but I've cooperated with them.
On March 2, 2020, his remains were found in a rural area of El Paso County, Colorado. Following an investigation, Letitia Stauch was arrested on March 2, 2020, and charged with first-degree murder, child abuse resulting in death, tampering with a deceased body, and other related charges. Letitia Stauch initially maintained her innocence and claimed that Gannon had been abducted, but evidence presented by the prosecution suggested otherwise. Letitia Stauch's trial began on June 21, 2021, and lasted for several weeks. During the trial, the prosecution presented evidence that Gannon had been brutally beaten and killed by Letitia Stauch, who then disposed of his body in a suitcase and dumped it in a remote area. The defense argued that Letitia Stauch was innocent and that the evidence against her was circumstantial. On July 27, 2021, a jury found Letitia Stauch guilty on all charges, and she was subsequently sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The exact motive for Letitia Stauch killing Gannon Stauch is not entirely clear, as she has never provided a clear explanation for her actions. However, the prosecution presented evidence during her trial that suggested a possible motive. According to the prosecution, Letitia Stauch had a troubled relationship with Gannon and resented him for taking attention away from her own daughter. She allegedly abused and mistreated Gannon, which ultimately led to his death. The prosecution also presented evidence that Letitia Stauch had searched online for information on how to cause a child to die in the weeks leading up to Gannon's disappearance. Letitia Stauch was also accused of attempting to mislead investigators and cover up the crime by cleaning the scene of the murder and disposing of Gannon's body. Ultimately, the motive for Letitia Stauch's actions remains unclear, as she has never provided a clear explanation for why she killed Gannon.